Good morning. Meteorologist Lisa Green here with a look at what to expect as we are heading into the end of the week and into the weekend with our first alert weather days, with our kind of first round of winter coming our way. Now, we're not looking at a big snowstorm. We've been talking about that and stressing that, but we haven't seen snow in a lot of places yet, and we definitely haven't seen accumulating snow, and there is that possibility for some of us. And on top of that, we're looking out for some of the coldest temperatures of the season so far. So we want you to be ready for all of that coming up here. So we're going to get into what to expect as we are working our way through what is going to be an interesting couple of days here. So here's a preview of what to expect. So first of all, we're going to skip past today and just this preview, and then we'll talk about what's going on here in the weather for your Thursday as well, leading up to it. But first of all, wintry weekend ahead. It's going to start up on Friday, specifically overnight tonight and into Friday. We're going to see another clipper move through. That's going to bring a quick morning mix. There's the possibility there could be some rain, possibility it could be some snow or something in between as we kick off our day tomorrow. So I'll be monitoring that on the valley today. We'll continue to track that for you, keep an eye on conditions. And breezy too. So if there is some falling snow, there's the potential that visibility may be more reduced if there's a little bit of wind going on. So the likelihood of that sticking is a lot less. We're going to see the temperatures on the warmer side, and we'll break that down for you coming up, and that will help to prevent much for accumulation. And then in addition to that, Friday we're really first alerting you because we're going to see the colder air taking over on Friday, and it's going to be a big difference between today's highs and tomorrow's, and that kicks off what is going to feel like a pretty cold weekend for everybody. Now, not everybody sees snow, but our best chance for accumulating snow will be on Saturday, our first alert weather day as well. Light accumulation possible, and that's going to be more likely in eastern North Dakota, it's still looking like. So that's part of our viewing area. And then also out into western and central parts of the state too, but focusing in on our viewing area more into eastern North Dakota than into Minnesota. And then I don't want to overlook Sunday, because Sunday there is a chance for some flakes for some of us. In Minnesota especially, we could see some lake effect snow. Our lakes are open, and our lakes, some of the big lakes like Lake of the Woods and Red Lake and Devil's Lake, big enough to have a lake effect snow event. We've seen that before. And with that colder air moving in with some wind, that could lead to some lake effect snow. And just in general, the possibility for some light snow and cold continuing too on Sunday. So don't want to overlook Sunday. So again, a couple of first alert weather days. Tomorrow to introduce the cold. Saturday's our day where we have the best bet for accumulating snow in parts of the valley. So let's step back. Let's talk about where we are right now. So this is our view on our radar currently in the valley. You can see that I've got a wide view looking at places north of the border too, more active snow going on into Canada than what we are seeing in the southern end of this system into North Dakota and Minnesota. And the radar has been lighting up all morning in these areas. It's drier at the surface, so I have not seen reports of any of this snow making its way to the ground or rain. There's some green on the map too. Here in the valley, I've not seen anything on our DOT cams either, but that doesn't mean we're not getting some flakes. So something to keep in mind as we are moving along here through the afternoon, that we could have potentially that chance for some precipitation early on. It's north and west of there where we're watching for that system to drop in and bring us that next chance for some precipitation. But still, you can see our radar is looking active, at least aloft. This moisture is getting detected. So let's take a look at our wind. It has picked up. We're seeing some gusts into the 20s and 30s. Fergus Falls, a gust to 32. It's out of the south, so kind of warmer air feeding in ahead of this next wave, this next disturbance, and some moisture feeding into it as well. So eventually we will see the potential for precip to increase for us coming up. And then on top of that, of course, just windy, making it feel cooler than it is, though it is mild for a day in November, early November. We're looking at temperatures in the south into the upper 40s right now. Northern Valley still in the 30s to some low 40s. Average highs for today's date into the low 40s. So we're already surpassing that this morning, and we're likely to see our temperatures climbing into some low 50s in the south and more close to 40 up along the international border. So all in all, not bad on this November day and kind of last day of mild weather before the cold snap hits for the weekend. So Now let's get into the forecast. We're going to be looking at the next, well, just under 24 hours through tomorrow morning here on our potential for some precip with this first round. So this particular model not really showing those areas of moisture aloft here, really just focusing in on the cloud cover that will be hanging around here for today. You know, we do have some breaks in those clouds, and we may see more of that this afternoon and get a little sun before it sets tonight. But overall, more of a cloudy day. It's overnight where we see kind of that backside of this low, this wave move through. And that's when we have our better chance for precip with this one. So this is heading into the overnight hours. This is after midnight tonight, and you can see some moisture starting to creep into our northwestern viewing area, and that continues to push south and east. And so areas in the southern end of the valley may see a mixed bag of precip. You can see some areas may get some snow. Fargo could get our first flakes of the season. And then places south of there, maybe a little warm enough to be more in the form of rain. And again, the track on this, more eastern North Dakota and the southern valley. And this is close to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So again, this could have some impacts on your morning commute, reducing visibility. What I don't expect is much for accumulation. I mean, there might be a little bit briefly on some grassy surfaces, but on the roads, the ground is very warm still. Temperatures will still be pretty mild, relatively speaking. We will see those slide through the day, so I'm going to get into details on that coming up in just a moment. But you can see that sweep through, and by 9 o'clock, it's out of here. So that's our first clipper of the next couple moving through. Heading into the afternoon, we've got maybe even some clearing, some sunshine breaking out before we're watching for that next round. And that particular model brings that snow more to central North Dakota. So model's still not in 100% agreement. I did want to take a quick look at our wind forecast for the second half of the day. It does start to come down after a windy, breezy morning here this morning. Okay, so that was one of our shorter range models. Some of them are bringing in that snow over more parts of the valley, others keeping it a little farther west like that one did. This is back to the European model. This is the model I've been showing you all week. So I think it's important to continue with that one to show you the changes that may be happening with that one or the consistency. But just with the caveat that some models are tracking it more for central North Dakota, and then some bringing it a little farther east into eastern parts of North Dakota, and perhaps more into the heart of the valley as well into Saturday. So we still don't have that track 100% nailed down, but they are, you know, a little more in alignment, we'll say, and in the general vicinity of each other with the storm and with the system and with the potential for snow. So, okay, let's get back to our hour-by-hour planner. So we're going to backtrack again and start with this morning. We're pretty quiet. We're going to be watching for that potential for some moisture into the afternoon along the international border, but overall more on that just kind of cloudy side here today. And then here comes that low. It sweeps south and east. And so this model showing more rain and a little bit of snow trying to mix in. So we're kind of right in that threshold between rain and snow with temperatures near freezing heading into tomorrow morning. So again, we'll be tracking that. That sweeps through. Behind it is when I expect to see some of our colder air rushing in with this system. So we'll be watching that closely heading into the day tomorrow. So here's a look at this as we head into tomorrow morning. Our temperatures around the time we're seeing that precip will be close to freezing or above. Those of us in the south more likely to still be above freezing at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Those of us in the north more likely to be a couple of degrees below freezing. And so, you know, not terribly cold, but definitely a factor for, you know, what sticks. And, you know, it does factor into the type of precip we see as well. And wind too, coming in out of the north, at times gusting into the 20s. So that's going to also create, if we do have some falling snow, that possibility for blowing snow. So as we continue to take a look at our temperatures here for Friday, pay attention to the northern valley especially too, because you can see we're starting to dip below freezing at 7 a.m. That's typically when we see our lowest temperatures of the day, and then the sun comes up and starts to warm us up. But as we go through time here on Friday, that north wind and that northerly flow just really prevents us from warming. And we're in fact colder by 5 p.m. than we are at 7 a.m. We're into the mid 20s to some upper 20s for your afternoon temperatures in the north. In the south, 7 a.m. we're at 36 in Fargo. By 5 p.m., we're into the low 30s. So that colder air moving in is the start of a chillier round of weather. And it sets us up for the potential for more solid precipitation with the next wave coming in on Friday night and heading into Saturday. As our temperatures slide overnight and into Saturday morning, you can see by 7 a.m. on Saturday, we're more into the 20s, even some teens. So that allows for more solid precipitation again and helps with the snow to not melt on grassy surfaces again. A reminder that the ground is still warm, so that will help to melt it on those areas where, the road surface that's not elevated. So bridge decks might be a concern Saturday morning where we get snow, and then grassy areas that tend to be, colder surfaces where we more likely will get accumulation. Okay, so thanks for bearing with me here. Okay, so now as we take a look again at our hour by hour planner, we ended, Friday morning as that first round moves through tonight and into tomorrow. By Friday afternoon, this is 3 p.m., we're in a break. And then the model continues to bring in that potential for some snow, some rain into central North Dakota. Again, heading into hunting opener weekend. So if you're heading out west and western North Dakota, you may see some of this precip during the daytime hours. But for us here in the valley, it's more likely late Friday night into early Saturday morning when this particular round moves through. This is 8 a.m. Saturday. And you can see eastern North Dakota yet again, that area where we're watching for that best bet for snow. And then it starts to drop southward. And again, I do want to just stress that this is one model scenario. Others, like the one we saw just a little bit ago, kept more of the snow toward the west, but did try to bring it into the James River Valley. However, it didn't quite make it east toward the Fargo-Moorhead area. Others kind of bring it more, I wouldn't say right over the heart of the valley, but more east, and more places in the east would have that opportunity to see snow if that particular track pans out. If you are in Bemidji, you're probably not going to see snow with this particular round on Saturday, but stay tuned because we are looking at the potential for snow for you on Sunday. So again, track is going to be still a bit unsettled here as we head toward this event. But we do know that it's more likely eastern North Dakota in our viewing area that will see the snow and the potential for accumulating snow on Saturday. Now, this is Saturday night. That drops southward. Our models are indicating there's going to be another low, a couple of things going on here. Another low kind of working its way around Hudson Bay. It's going to sweep south really quick, heading into Saturday night and into Sunday. If that scenario pans out, there's the potential for more snow in northern Minnesota. And then in addition to that, that possibility downwind of Lake of the Woods, downwind of Red Lake, downwind of the Devil's Lake area, probably more likely east, but still Devil's Lake as well. These lakes are open. They're warm compared to that colder air that's going to be blowing in. And especially Sunday morning, we will have some stronger wind. And so that could lead to some lake effect snow heading into Sunday. And then again, watching out for some flakes associated with that disturbance that's going to be dropping in from Canada more toward Minnesota and Lake Superior. So places like Bemidji and Badette and our eastern viewing area, Sunday may be your day to see a few flakes with temperatures that are going to be on the chilly side. So that's going to drop off to the east. And then we start to quiet down. We're looking at some cold weather hanging around as this settles in. So snowfall potential, a reminder that, with the warm ground, there's going to be some melting. And then in addition to that, this is a light snowfall event. So, we've been talking about it a lot and hitting the messaging hard on this as far as just getting you prepared for wintry weather to come this weekend, in the sense that it's going to be the coldest air of the season. It's so far, we know we're going to get colder later on, but we're not used to this yet. And it's going to be a dramatic drop from today to tomorrow and into the weekend as well. And then also, our first accumulations too, always a big deal to have that first snowfall. So we just want to, make sure you're aware of it. And that's why we've been talking about this a lot. But we're not expecting a big winter storm, not expecting huge impacts other than, if you do get a little accumulation on some of those bridges and colder surfaces, that's going to be something to consider for, traveling and that kind of thing. So here's a look at our snowfall potential. Again, this could shift west or east, but we do have this kind of area here from around Minot down into southeastern North Dakota. We're looking at the potential for an inch or so of snow in this area, maybe 2 inches of snow up toward Minot. And then this kind of less opaque, more transparent area of light blue, that's less than an inch. So there are places that could see maybe just 1 or 2 flakes up to a quick little light dusting, or even just, a snow shower, but it all melts as it falls as well in other parts of the valley. So again, not a big snowmaker, but one that we haven't seen yet this season. And again, that's subject to change. We could see that track shift a little bit more. So check back with us tomorrow on that track as we get closer within that 24-hour period. So looking at our 3-day planner, this is what I mean by the temperature drop. We're going from 52 today in Fargo to, by the afternoon hours on Friday, into the low 30s. So about a 20-degree temperature drop. And these smaller numbers here are usually reserved for our overnight lows. And this is more of our overnight temperature tonight, into the mid 30s, but that's not going to be the 24-hour low for Friday. That's going to happen Friday, probably just before midnight. And so in the afternoon, when we typically have our highs, we're looking at temperatures that are going to be cooler than where we start off the day on Friday. A reminder, so we've got that colder air punching in, and it really takes over as we head into the weekend. So again, tonight we may see some of that light mix move in the far north, but overall it's going to be tomorrow morning where we see that first clipper move through with some breezy weather. And it won't be windy the whole time. We'll have just moments, a few hours where we get to see that wind pick up again. And then heading into Saturday, that chance for some snow and mix with accumulating snow possible Saturday. So first alerting you to that both Friday and Saturday. The cold on Friday, the snow potential accumulating Saturday. And then Sunday, you can see it's going to be pretty chilly. Morning lows, teens to low 20s, highs in the 30s with that chance. We have flurries here, but I probably should have added that chance for some more snow showers into our eastern viewing area for Sunday. So something to keep in mind. And we stay cold. I think our coldest morning will be Monday morning. Temperatures in the teens to start off. That's going to feel downright chilly on Monday, and we'll struggle to warm up, but we'll start the turnaround, and just in time for Veterans Day on Tuesday, getting back into the 40s. So even if you see a little accumulation in your grassy areas, you can see our temperatures in the afternoons are going to warm up enough to help melt that in the coming days. So this is not something where it snows and then it sticks around and we're stuck with it for the rest of winter time. This is just that, taste of winter that we've been talking about here. And then continuing on in your 11-day planner, more days where we're rising back to around average or even above average. By next Friday, we could be back to 50 again. So this isn't the end of fall weather. It's just a signal that winter weather is going to begin to take over as we head further into the end of the year and into the winter season itself coming up here. So again, first alert weather days, Friday, Saturday. We're going to see a chance for some light snow. Not everybody gets it, but the possibility is there heading into the weekend. And just in general, much, much colder than we've seen in a while. So stay tuned. We'll update you again on this forecast later today. And then I'll be back again tomorrow for the latest on the track, the timing, and how things are shaping up as the system develops and starts approaching the valley. Again, we've got 2 rounds. One tonight that we'll be tracking tomorrow morning on the valley today, and then the second one Friday night and into Saturday, and then it's just plain cold into the weekend with a few snow showers for a few of us heading into Sunday. So enjoy the mild weather for one more day today before that cool down comes. And we'll leave you with a view of how it's looking outside here on our sky cam in the north part of the metro at Newman Outdoor Field. You can see some areas where we have some breaks in the clouds and some overcast skies as well. So kind of keeping that going as we go through the day today with a few breaks in the clouds from time to time, especially in this afternoon. So have a great Thursday, and we'll talk again